Hello and welcome to Camera Lounge. It's a series of interviews brought to you specially by Camera Joint. That is Nigeria's #1 camera store. And Camera Joint has brought this specially to the Nigerian market so that creatives in the country can have the platform and the opportunity to cross-pollinate, share ideas, share story, talk about technical things and proper solutions to collective problems. So we have our first guest on the show. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you'll be glad that you watched this video. Stay with us. Lights, camera, action. Once again, this is Camera Lounge, brought to you specially by Camera Joint. Welcome with me, Yemi Kings. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to be here. It's amazing.
Yes.
I love this place.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's made specially for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right, let's get to it. Yemi Kings, that we all know today. Yemi. Femi, okay. Tell us about your childhood, how you grew up, and how you got here.
Thank you so much. I'm still the second born of 2 kids. My dad is an academician. He lectured in Ocean College, and my mom, a retired nurse. We're just 2 boys, and so I was given birth to in Ife. And basic southwestern Yoruba boy. Grew up, went to primary school in Ife, then we moved to Elisha, and then from Elisha went to boarding school in Ikiro, and then finished in Ikiro, OAU, Ife, and then that's when I finished university. So basically my entire teenage life growing up was in Osun State. So until it was time for me to do photography, and I moved on to Lagos here.
So what prepared you for photography?
I've always been a creative child. I've always wanted to draw. I've always wanted to sketch, and that I did for years. But growing up in a Nigerian family, your parents tend to have other plans for you.
What was their plan?
My dad wanted me to become anything in medicine. And from my GSS 3, my parents were like, because I was smart and intelligent, I would do better in the sciences. So they pushed me into the sciences, and that was the beginning of my academic struggle as a child, because I couldn't reconcile where I was with what I wanted to be. So I was just stuck in the middle. So fumbled all through secondary school and all through university until I eventually, decided to find my place. So I said I'd rather go to a department where I can basically, even without getting a degree, I can take something out of it and use it for my life. And then I said, what, I'll just go to psychology. My mates would be in class. I would be in the radio station broadcasting, and my mates would be, studying for a test or an assignment. I'll be at dance rehearsals. I'll be at, play rehearsals, and I just wanted to create. So for me, I didn't really stay in class. I didn't stay in class.
So you were one of those guys.
And I was proud of it.
I love that. I love that.
I didn't stay in class.
There is this part of you're in school, but this thing is calling you. But there are other considerations. There are family considerations. What will my parents say? Is this going to feed me? You know, what is the end game to this? How did you then decide that, look, this is it?
There was this year that Lagbaja came to Ife, and I called my dad. I said, Daddy, in Yoruba, Lagbaja wasi campus. I said, Daddy, I've danced. And he said, you danced? Yeah. I said, Daddy, I danced. And he said, that's the MO they win. What they for me, Samsung Galaxy Tab 2. And I said, True story. True story. He says this story more than I do. And, okay, Tojuel, keep it. And then my dad, who had never visited me on campus, it was a Sunday, because that happened on a Saturday. On a Sunday, after church, my dad was in front of my room and came to keep the tab for me, to keep it safe.
Correct.
And then so he collected the tab and was like, Shomo, why genius school? So let me keep this for you. But I remember he said you wanted one laptop like that. Let's try and buy it for you. So he took the tab, because the tab was more expensive than the laptop, as I said. So he took the tab from me, and then he gave me a laptop. And everywhere we went together, he would flaunt the tab and tell people that, oh, Okoyemi won a dance competition. And so I'm like, you used to have a problem with me dancing, but now that I'm winning.
Until you had results.
And I have results. So that was when I learned that whatever it is you want to do, your parents don't actually care until you have results.
That's deep.
I eventually had an extra year with statistics and mathematics.
You did?
I did. I had 2 extra years.
With your looks?
Oh, if I would do that to you. So I had 2 extra years. So I had the first one. It was mathematics and statistics. And it was around the time that I met my now wife, then girlfriend. So we talked, and she was like, so you have a semester, what do you want to do? I said, I'm bored, because, you know, artists, we tend to be bored fast.
Yeah.
I said, I'm bored. I've danced, I've acted, I've painted, I've spoken, I've anchored events, I've done radio. I want to do something else. And then there was this amazing photographer on campus then, Transformers. He still is an amazing photographer. He's still one of the best manipulators that we have in this country. And, you know, I stayed watching him, and I can say that 95% of my manipulation skills that people pay me to learn now, I learned by just observing him do them. I knew it was possible just by observing him work on my own images. So I became a manipulator even long before I became a photographer. So when the extra year then came and I was bored, there was nothing else to learn. Photography looked like, why not just explore this photography thingy? And I said, that's a good idea. And that was 2015. So that butted my entry into photography. So I just had to ask around that, who is the best photographer in the whole of Ife? And they said, oh, Full House. Because as a then Transformers had already moved back to Lagos. It's a Full House, Mr. Kinteriwa Olakunle. And I went to meet him, and I paid, and I registered for his academy. And that was how the photography journey began.
You mentioned something earlier, which was artists get bored very easily. Now, in your case, I don't think you are more at risk because you're multi-talented. You have so many options. You can dance, you can paint, you can draw, you can do this and you can do that. But in the last how many years, you stayed with photography. Now, how easy was it for you to stay with photography? Because if you must succeed, you must stay on something.
I know the day that question was answered for me. There was a particular morning I was supposed to show up at work and retouch some images for my boss, Full House. And it coincided with another radio show that I had on the campus FM. So I was shuffling, just going there. So my boss would come. Where is Okoyemi? He went for dance rehearsal. Where is Okoyemi? he went for this show. Where's Okoyemi? He's never here. So that day, I came back from my radio show and he called me upstairs. And he said, Okoye, you're a massive ball of energy. But if you just keep spreading everywhere, you wouldn't have any impact. He said you have to channel all that energy into a focus funnel and put it to one thing. He said, you're not just good at all these things, you're good at almost everything you put your mind at. So, those things don't define you, you define them. Package all your energy, put it on one thing, let it now be a laser sharp focus. And then when you achieve success doing that one thing, you can then take that success, the name that you have made from that success, and then you can stamp it on anything. Because at that point, that name is synonymous to success. And he said, now, look at T.Y. Bello. T.Y. Bello now can decide to go into movie making because she has movie maker friends. She has a name. People know her already. Now, she's not going to queue at auditions. She can decide today to become a journalist. She can decide today with that name and that success that she has made in photography, she can decide to run for office. So when you make name, you rise higher, and then you rise above the crowd, and then you can take that success and stamp it on other things.
So what made it photography?
So almost everything I was doing, I had to wait and I had to be selected. So I said, at that point for me, photography was like the only thing that I can do, create my art and sell. It was more like the ready option that I can say, you know what, I can open a studio and I will just sit down here and people will be trooping in and they will be taking pictures 247. Now, they are the ones that will be looking for me.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, he'll be talking about how the vision grew. So you were saying something before we went on break, that all you wanted to do, own your own shop, take a few wait and get passports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How did that vision grow?
Someone once said something to me in Yoruba, that if Yoruba dani sila agbe, and what that means is we stay or we live where we are created. And then I came across another saying that said, "Inteyeba jelu magbefo," meaning you can only go with what you have in you. And then, so I asked myself the question that,
Come on now. Come on now. Can you say that? That's deep. Can you interpret that?
So yeah, so there is a saying that says, "Oh, we grow, we live and die where we were born." And then there is another saying that goes, "Whatever you ingest is what you travel with." So I then asked myself the question that, what if you are now born in a place where there is no food? So I had to answer it myself. Then you move to where there is food. So if we don't always stay and die where we're born. We have to ask ourselves, what can be more? What else can I do to this? And so those are still things that govern the philosophies I live by. So there's this Instagram thingy that we're just getting to understand around that time. And then I would see people's work. And I knew that it was different from what we were doing. Like, you look at it and you're like, mad. And then I started seeing people like Prince Mason, T.Y. Bello, George Okoro, and Toby Nature. Then I'm like, who are these guys? Akim Salam. And then I started seeing names, and what we're doing here is like, it's not even child's play. Like, photo lele. And then I started asking, where is this person? Lagos. Where is this person? Lagos. Lagos. This one too, Lagos. I'm like, like, is this Lagos that everything is happening? I said, I'm going to that Lagos. That
Correct.
If it is in the head they are breathing, we'll breathe it together. Like, whatever these guys know, I must know. So I had set my eyes on Lagos. It could have been anywhere. It wasn't necessarily Lagos for me, but where it was happening, I wanted to be at the hub of excellence. And I've always had something for the front row. I wanted to be at the front row. I wanted to see. If I'm not at the front row, I need to be backstage.
So you're saying to me now that as a creative who wants to succeed, you must keep probing. Now, so location was one thing.
Yes.
But access was another thing. Yeah. Now, because you mentioned some names now, and they've been great influences in your life. Mention more of those names and what impact access to them created for you.
On Instagram, I saw Mr. Shinwaki Sami, the organizer of NIFEC. And then I remember I wanted to go, but then someone discouraged me and said, no, it's just big photographers that will be there showing off. So I didn't go. I missed the first edition. I missed the second edition. So the second edition, I was following it online. And I saw Mr. Shinwaki Sami asking Fotonimi and T.Y. Bello very tough questions. Like, very tough questions. And asking them in front of every other photographer to answer it. So, and I saw his realness. So I felt like if there's anybody that can tell me the truth in this Lagos that I am, it has to be this man. But then I didn't have his number. I didn't know how to reach him. I just saw him on YouTube once. So I went on Instagram, I put his name, and I saw that NIFEC showed up. And then I clicked on NIFEC and I saw a contact, I saw a phone number, and I clicked on that phone number, and he was the one that picked. And then when he picked, he said, hello sir, my name is Yemi. I said, then I had already become Yemi Kings. My name is Yemi Kings. I'm just a graduate. I'm in Lagos. I don't have camera. I don't have laptop. I don't have anybody. I'm frustrated. I'm tired.
You just uploaded
I
on
just everything on him. So I expected him to pity me in return, to say, yeah, sorry, calm down. He said, Emma Bino, how many photography books do you own? I said, yes, I have some soft copies on my laptop. He said, no. Like, have you ever taken your own money to buy a photography book, add cover, and read it from cover to cover? I said, no, sir.
I know Mr. Akinsomi is very tough.
Oh, yeah. He said,
he's big on that.
He said, okay, so how many photography books have you read this year? I said, none, sir. He said, how many photography books do you own? I said, none, sir. How many photography workshops have you attended ever? I said, none, sir.
And then you remember NIFEC.
How many photography conferences, free of charge, have you gone? I said, none, sir. He said, le make. So you can make
that
it.
blunt.
He was that blunt. So, and that was why I called him. But I didn't expect that it would be like, hey, I'm sorry, le make. He said, I said, but I don't have a camera. He said, do you have a phone? I said, yes. He said, is it an Android phone? I said, yes. So he has a camera. I said,
what year was this?
This was 2016, 17. And then he said, have you ever taken your Android phone, walked into the streets of Lagos, take a picture, print it at a local shop, frame it, and attempt to sell it? I said, I've never. I said, so you don't even know how to maximize the little Android you have with you. He said, the camera is not your problem. If you have it, it's still going to be useless. So he said, what I can do for you is come over to my studio. We have some trainings that we do for photographers. I'll give you a 1-month scholarship. And then you can, pick it from there. And then he made me write an essay, A Day in My Life in the Year 2025, which was a futuristic essay.
Yeah.
So I wrote it. So he wanted to know.
Which sort of helped you to carve a vision.
So I submitted that essay, and that's how I became a student of the academy. It was at that academy that dropped me at the hub of photographers in Lagos, Nigeria.
It brought you into the community.
Into the community. Mr. Shen would write a book and say, take this to Kele Chamadi, take this to Akim Salam, take this to Uche James Sora, take this to Obi Somto. So I had their addresses and I had their phone numbers. And I knew where they stayed and I knew what they looked like. And now they know me too. So that was the access point for me.
All right, so you mentioned access, but I want us to talk about some kind of soft skill that gets you continuous access. Most of these guys, you're still in touch with them, they still pick your call. There are several photographers that they probably have met and they never pick their calls again. Let's talk about the importance of character. How can you maximize and retain the access points you have?
So the problem we have in the photography industry right now is that we have many badass, amazing photographers, but horrible people. And I discovered that the people that have really built wealth with photography in Nigeria are not the most amazing photographers technically.
So what do they have
Character.
that these other guys don't
Character.
have? Can you spell it out?
One thing that I hold in high regard personally, because I can only speak for myself, is honor. The more you realize that you are nothing without God, the more you behave yourself. I mean, believe you me, I'm not going to stand here like a saint. I've messed up opportunities. Day before yesterday, I created a list in the past 1 year of clients that I know that, of course, we delivered amazing images, but I know that they were not satisfied. Whether because, oh, we didn't deliver on time, or a process took too long, and let me show you. Come and see. Where is it? We're going to see it here now. What did I title it?
Meant
When was this?
2 days ago.
How many clients?
4.
Oh.
1, 2,
5.
5. Yeah.
And I have 5 clients
You need to mend something.
that I have to mend something with them. So many people will not think about that. But for me, I try to make sure that it will all go well at times, but relationships must matter to you. Honor people, really care about people. When people pay you for a job, they're expecting you to bring your A game. And then it's not just about you bringing your fancy equipment. And, there are photographers that walk into clients' homes without respecting their spaces. That means a lot to some people. Do you know how much it cost me to bring you into my home? I don't know you. So you have to treat people's belongings. My team, we ask before we sit down.
Exactly. All right, so how can people learn these things? Because you see, the truth is there are a lot of young people within this industry, and many of them are sincerely just finding their feet. Many have been homeless, and photography appears to be some of the low-hanging fruits where you are able to express the skills that you have. So yes, you can excuse some people, but then let's go to fixing the problem.
Basically, there are no excuses, really, because you see, they teach us something in psychology. A 1-year-old child is old enough to be corrected. A 4-month-old fetus is old enough to be corrected. If a baby is troubling you too much at one particular angle as a mother, if you strike that angle hard enough till you give birth to that baby, it might never do that again. So in psychology, they taught us that learning is from the womb to the tomb. So you have no excuses, really.
Great. So let's look at the photography industry in Nigeria. We have so many portrait photographers. We have event photographers and stuff. But there are also very lucrative genres within the industry that are not being really explored in Nigeria.
I think many people now are paying attention too much on portraiture, portrait photography and events. And those are just the low-hanging ones. But there's something about the tree. For you to get the high-hanging ones, you have to do more work. And then they're barely seen. They're very, almost invisible, but they're there. And then the challenge is that if nobody goes, it drops. And then when it drops, if you're lucky enough to be under the tree when it drops, you just might see it and be like, Yeah, something's up here. Oh.
So share some of them with me.
Okay, so one.
I feel you. I feel
You feel me, Abby? All right, Holy Spirit, help me. Because this hanging fruit, it take me work before me say, see I'm.
Correct. So let's do this.
Okay, so
mention many.
Okay, so I'll mention many.
Yeah.
So you don't know the one
I
that
just
I'm
took
eyeing.
it in there somehow.
I just took it in there. The whole world is going global. There is something the metaverse is going to do for the government industry that is going to be crazy. And many people are not ready for it. So a lot of people are already looking into this whole metaverse and seeing how they can make money from it. NFTs are amazing as well. People have already started making money with NFTs, with photography in Nigeria. And then it's not loud yet. That one is there. For crying out loud, you can even be personal photographer to a VIP. The country is hard. And we have so many talented, amazing, intelligent, beautiful people amongst our youths. And then there's always this blame that we all put on the government and say, oh, why is your life like this? It's because it's Nigeria. But I always make it a point to let people know that, look,
Come on. Yeah. So what do you do on a daily basis? Because it then comes to the grind. There are certain things, I'm a believer in the things that you do consistently. What are the things that a photographer must do? I mean, they don't have to boil down to items, but you know, how you carry yourself on a daily basis, the goals you give yourself, you know, that gets you there eventually.
One for me, constant learning. Fearless and the ruthless search for excellence. I tell my guys, I said, look, excellence is affordable at every level. Look for it. There's always something out there just waiting to be caught. And sincerely, you can't catch it alone. You need the grace of God. That's why you need to be spiritual, because you can be looking at it and not seeing it. It can be right there in front of you. Talking about fruits and trees. You know, my brother, under the mango tree, somebody will see, like, mango, you'll be like, me. You'll be like, me.
So you need your eyes to be opened.
You need your eyes to be opened.
Yeah.
And even before then, you need to train it, even when it's opened, to see. I got a client that said, Yemi, you're going to be doing a photo session for me every week and everything is going to be different. I'm like, the first photo session, I ran out of tricks.
That means you have to learn to keep that client.
Just for this one client. She said, Yemi, and she's not on Instagram. She said, Yemi, I go out every week, and I like you. So every one bet that I'm doing, you'll be taking a special photo session for me. And the money is sweet.
Amen.
But now I have to be thinking for what to do. And she's very, very finicky and meticulous.
We'll take another short break. And when we come back, we'll find out what Yemi carries in his bag. Welcome back to Camera Lounge, and I have been talking to Yemi Kings. Now, before we go to what's in your bag,
Okay.
I have a few images that you've taken here. Fantastic, beautiful, and really excellent images that we've got here. I would like you to talk me through these images and the unique experiences that you had with them, whether it's difficulty getting a particular brief or anything like that, or something exciting.
So this particular lady, her name is Esther. She's a friend of mine. We've known each other since we were on campus. And then this was created during the pandemic, the lockdown. So I remember she came to the studio and we were just supposed to do something for our fashion line. And we had already taken all the images for all the outfits. But I just knew that I'd not gotten an image for me. we've gotten all the images we wanted for her, and she was happy. But that was the way I was seeing her that I've not gotten. So I said, you know what? So I had this sack that is on her. It's actually an onion sack.
Yeah.
So I just threw
I noticed. Yeah.
Yes. So I threw it on her, and then we got this amazing image.
Great. What's the intelligence or what's the philosophy behind this picture?
So this particular image taught me, or rather proved to me, the essence of being prepared. So I found myself in the same room with this amazing man of God, Bishop Francis Wale Oke, and I had less than 2 minutes to create something amazing. The man didn't have time to waste. And that was our first time meeting. I had just 2 seconds to be starstruck and move on to what we wanted to do. And this was like the third shot. And I exactly in my mind knew what I wanted to do. And I told him, sir, can you move away from the wooden frame behind? He moved away. Sir, can you look at this life? Can you just chin up and think about all the good things that the Lord has done?
Come on.
Can you think about the prayers that you just finished praying this morning? And can you look at the answers coming your way from heaven and smile? And boom, we add that.
I mean, all these are written all over this picture.
Yes.
If you had to photograph a celebrity, what are the 2 things that you must do?
1, I respect them, and I respect myself. And, respect myself, it's not synonymous to me comporting myself. Respecting myself is celebrating myself for being in there as well.
So what's in your camera bag? Let's see your bag.
My spare tire, my tag.
Correct. Let's see. So let's see what's in Yemi King's bag anytime he's going out.
So this is my.
This
is my bag. This is the very first bag that I got for my camera in 2017, and it's my.
That's what now? 5 years.
Yes, and it's my very first camera, and I'm still using it.
Your very first camera.
Yes. So it's a Nikon D750, and this is the pouch that came with it. So this is it, my beloved camera.
So, is this okay? So just excuse me. This is the best camera you have right now.
Yes.
Oh wow.
This is all I've worked with. If I have a shoot now, this is what I'm carrying there.
Oh wow.
Guy has been with me through
through thick and thin.
We've entered spaces together, and the doors that I walked in with this guy are. So I'm actually planning on, transitioning into the mirrorless season, and then I don't want.
Why do you want to do that?
Because that's the future.
Yeah, because these are questions that photographers must answer.
Yeah, because it's the future. I love this guy, but then I was opportunity to work with Sony some few months ago, and then they gave me some of their high-end devices to work with, and I was blown away by how smart, how intelligent, how fast it was. And I remember that if we're emotionally attached to the past, the future will forget us.
All right, so let's see the lenses. Now, some people say the array of lenses that you have say a lot about your personality. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. Because I did psychology, and I understand that yes, there is what we call compensation. Small people like big things.
Yeah.
Big people like small things.
Yeah.
And, but for me, what influenced my choice of my brand of photography that I started with, and the choice of lenses is the person I've always trained with Nikon. So Full House was shooting Nikon, and then when I moved to Lagos and I worked with Rhea Shilanke, she was shooting with the Nikon D750 and the 35mm prime. And so when she was shooting with that, and I saw the results that she was getting with that, why she got it, I don't know. If that was what she could afford, I don't know. But I started shooting with that, and I started doing my own shoots with this, just like this.
Yes.
And then
So
the
this is
results.
35.
That's a 35 1.8 mm lens. If the president is calling me today to come and do a photo shoot, I'm going with these two bad guys.
So just these two.
Yes, now.
No nifty 50.
No, which nitty. I have one 80 to 200 I got from my friend Tosin Junai. I think I used this guy maybe twice in a photo session because my studio is a very small space. So an 80 to 200 might, and I always love to be close to my client so I can touch you, I can talk to you, you can hear me. This makes me go away, so I have to be shouting. No. I don't want to do that. My clients don't like to be shouted at.
Go on. Madam,
Mommy, so can you just... The 35 allows me to be closer to my client.
Yeah.
Of course, it comes with some distortion issues, which I've mastered how to, correct it in post. So if I'm going to shoot you full, this one, if I'm going to shoot you, this one I know how to use best.
I mean, this is just beautiful. So Yemi, thank you very kindly for coming on the show, Camera
You're
Lounge.
welcome.
It's been an amazing time with Yemi Kings of Yemi Kings Studios on Camera Lounge, brought to you specially by Camera Joint, Nigeria's #1 camera store. I'm Kaide Alande. Thank you for watching. Lights, camera, action.